say when there are no words? Feel a song that's never been heard. How do you know when you hear the call? What do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, 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 cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. What do you do when the mountain is there? How do you answer the challenging day? And when your back's against the wall, what do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, cannonball, cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it.
I've got a problem. I've just had to pause the intro because my game has crashed. Now I have got a problem. I'm hoping that it's not too late for me to join. I paused the intro just in case I cannot rejoin the session. You can hear the game going on in the background. I'm going to see if I can get back in. I'm not...
No, it's okay. It's okay. I've worked my magic and we are restarting. Don't worry, I was writing there on the board to the administrators. We are officially restarting the session for the Lord.
Phew.
Yep.
Yep, all
paycheck through the post, Kodiak. Paycheck through the post. What a slick intro.
You belter. That's the first time I've had a problem. That is the first time I have actually had an issue. So the server is being restarted for... Was it just me that had a problem then?
Yes.
Oh, I feel horrible now.
Mr. Popular is here in person. Which is fine. It means we get to talk about the exciting changes ahead of us this afternoon. There has been a lot of changes.
Absolutely, they have.
None other than which we have two esports contenders racing with us tonight. We have RC Fab Racer, which is Fabio Donoso from the second place man in the F1 esports, and we have Sven Zerner, that is a third place man in F1 esports. So pretty exciting times for us in AOR. We're going to get a pretty exhilarating race.
The irony is that Sven, who was third, I believe, in the end, in the esports event, is standing in for Brendan, who is, of course, the world champion of that event. So that I find a slight bit of irony.
Yes, it's quite surprising, I must admit. But hopefully we'll provide some pretty exciting racing for the rest of the season. We normally have at least one reserve drive, which is where Sven comes in.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So Sven and Fabrizio Donoso joined the league this week, and that has enabled Mr. Donoso to officially replace Wycombs, even though Wycombs is actually still on the standings. The reason why he's still there, he's officially still there, because his replacement has yet to race, which is, of course, Mr. Donoso, as mentioned. And also that Sven has stepped in officially as the reserve driver. Of course, there is a gap in the driver lineup, so he is able to race today. I do wonder how Brendan's going to feel racing against those two individuals in league capacity. But as the stream can see, the official standings are on the screen at the moment. Timp still leading the way as I'm still getting invites coming in.
Can I have a spell, Kodiak?
Can you have a spare one? Yes, you may have a spare one. So let's sort that out. I do apologise, stream, for this particular technical hiccup. It is the first time I have had this particular issue, and my phone's making noises. I don't know why. So yes, that has caused a bit of a server hiccup. I'm sure I will be reminded of it later on by our drivers that we get to speak to. So yes, as previously mentioned, Tim is still leading the way on 128, Danny 106, the only two drivers to break 100 points. Topar third on 82, Raven fourth on 52, Max fifth on 45, Segro and Kalon joined sixth on 35, Yaltina, which is Arox, in 8th with 33, Fader in 30, and the recently retired Wycombs still in that, rounding out the top 10 on 29. Of course, Toro Rosso blasting away at the head of the field. Haas and Mercedes have actually swapped round in the positions. And that beeping is the game just going into the next session. So Haas now back into second position on 118, Mercedes on 115, then a big drop down to Sauber on 75, Williams 62, Red Bull 49, McLaren 47, more points than, there's nearly more points than they got in the entirety of the season. Force India 31, Renault 26, and Ferrari still at the back on 21. As we now get back into the session, hopefully I'll stay in it this time, and we will get our qualifying underway for round 8 here in Azerbaijan in Baku.
Yeah, it's quite an unbelievable track. This one, it is a Tilka circuit. So it's a lot of 90 degrees corners. In fact, there's pretty much only 90-degree corners, similar to Russia. There's two major overtaking spots. That's turn 1. That's a long DRS, 2 kilometre straight. That is right, 2 kilometres. That's about the same length as, I don't know, Monaco. So you've got that, and then you have a potential opportunity going into turn 3, which is again about a kilometre long. It's so we should see some pretty exciting overtakes and stuff. It's a very low downforce circuit. You don't need much downforce. There's a very little high speed. In fact, there are no high speed corners, and the high speed corners we have are flat out.
Indeed. So it's pretty much all or nothing here. So 15 drivers on field. As previously mentioned, Brendan is one of the ones not with us. Jesse has highlighted, or non-runner is also not with us. Ramdrop is also not with us. I have just been given a very juicy piece of information. It's a full wet race.
It was actually raining in qualifying, bizarrely. As you disconnected, we would have got a wet qualifying, so I bet the drivers were more than happy to miss that qualification session. I know I would be absolutely over the moon if my streamer had to connect. So Sven has came out of the pits first. He's first on track. Always a nice position to be in. You have the most amount of time to prepare, and you can very much control the qualifying from this first position on the track.
So Sven, as you can see, is in the Red Bull that would normally be occupied by Brendan. And Wycombs has identified that Kez is also not present in the Williams. Who else is out on track? Segro in the McLaren. I wince when they go up that twisty section, that 8 through to 12. It's so close to the walls. It just makes that's a butt-clenching moment. Riker Gordon,
it really is,
in the Ferrari is following the second McLaren. There's Formula Danny, championship contender in the Haas, is out there as well. Max, that's an unusual way of leaving the pits, must be said, but
for Max,
yeah, he kind of.
You know why? Do you want to know why? Because he's sending me a message.
I wonder how happy the drivers are if they were going to get a wet quali in a dry race, and now that seems to be the other way around. I wonder how happy they're actually going to be about that.
It'll be interesting. I don't imagine they did a huge amount of practice in the wet. I don't know what the chances are, but I don't think a wet race is massively isn't a massive percentage. Like some races, like Silverstone and stuff, they have very high chances of rain. Brazil as well, where thrown to that in. Some races have very low percent. Like, for example, Bahrain will be like a 0%
Yeah.
chance. It might be like a 0.1% chance or something for that really odd occasion.
Here's your Raven. The Sol Williams present tonight is heading down that back. Where is he? I need to get my bearings on where we are. He's just gone through turn 3. Kalon in the Toro Rosso. Oh, that's close. I think it was a bit of a tap on the exit of turn 2. He will probably get away with that one. There is Fabrizio Donoso, Fab Racer in the Pink Panther, feeding his way through the streets of Baku. Oh god, that is so close. Streets of Azerbaijan. I know, but Baku is far easier to say. ATO Nobody in the second Red Bull is making his way almost where everybody is out on circuit. Not everyone is on a time lap as yet. There is Arox, or Yaltinen as he is otherwise known as. Lap data, or someone wanting that. Where are we? No one's set a lap yet, and we've got a problem in sector 1. That's Riker Gordon. Oh, Riker Gordon's in trouble. There he. Oh my God, he's done that well. Wheel. Not only is his wheel hanging underneath him, it's actually clipped through the floor. Wow, that's impressive.
Sven has just set a lap time of 140.4. That's decent. But that's just been beaten by Fab Racer. He's got
about 1.5 tenths.
A pole time around here. We could expect a 39.7 as Danny gets
39.9
to that 139. It looks like we have Johnny Tomala, Formula Danny, Fab Racer, and Sven all within the top 5, and all of those with F1 Esports. We obviously had our wonderful spectator. Unfortunately, Wycombe's, he was in the Esports family. Obviously, he won it. Did Brandon. Wow, what a mix is that? That is a pretty exciting recipe, isn't it?
Isn't it just? I feel I'm going to have to boost your volume a little bit on this side, Mr. Hamish. Look at that, yeah. So just double check with me, stream, if you're happy with Hamish's volume. My PC's been doing very weird things. I've already dropped from the session once, as we've all seen. But to me, Hamish actually sounded a little quiet. So
I can always boost my volume as well.
I think it's more this side than yours. So yes, poleman currently Formula Danny, the only man to get under 140. Topar or Ioni Tormala. I'm sure I'm not saying that correctly. Oh, and we've just lost Arox. He's had a problem in sector 2, and that's not looking good. That's another front wheel. That's around 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, and have we lost somebody else? No, that's just where those yellow flags are. So we have lost the Mercedes of Arox. 140.9 is as good as he's going to get, and they're struggling in the dry. Then today's race is going to be very, very interesting in the wet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these drivers will be going probably for one flying lap. However, Topar he's coming to the pits actually. That's interesting. 2 drivers already out of qualifying. That's quite unusual. I mean, we saw a lot of people retiring early last week in Canada, but as weather related, we've got 15 drivers, which is it's fairly exciting grid. Back in the day, that's pretty much a full lobby. But of course, we can now have up to 20 drivers. Danny is coming into his pit box. He's going to refuel the car and go for another run. That's a pretty respectable lap time at 39.9. He'll be happy with that. And that's I would say that's top 3 material, definitely.
My Windows is playing silly buggers with your volume. When I'm out of the game, your volume is actually fine, but when I'm in it, it drops. So
that's Discord related, I think.
Oh, I think it's actually Windows buggering me about.
Yes,
and I had this problem last time.
Volume thing, don't you? Do you know how to fix it?
Well, looking at my various settings, they don't look wrong, so I don't know quite what's going on there. So we'll have to live with it. You're audible, just a little quiet.
Okay.
So
if you go into the sound communications tab on Windows, that's normally what it is. The reduced volume of the sound by like 80% or 50%.
I will see if I get a chance to look at that in between quali and race, or if there's a quieter spot in the quali leading down, counting down to the start. Then we're looking at Fela, who's already on another time lap. He has got a 140.8, currently in 7th position. Fizzy has chosen not to come out yet. Segura hasn't got a time on the board either. So I'm surprised Fizzy is... unless Fizzy is just opting not to... Oh, we've got another problem at Sector 1. And that's gone again pretty quickly. So someone's had a bit of an off moment. We have no idea who.
So it's an interesting strategy here by Sven. What he's done, he came out, he was the first out. He set one lap, then came back in very quickly. He's now out again with no traffic. Hopefully, by the time he gets to the pit exit, he doesn't run into traffic. There is a risk of that. The positive side is that usually you're quite safe in terms of traffic, but there is that chance that you're going to get caught out with other cars doing their outlaps. And it doesn't matter whether on an outlap, yes, they will get out of your way, but it is distracting. So hopefully Sven can set a competitive lap time. He's only 4 tenths off the pole time. In fact, the top 10 are pretty much within a second, so that's pretty exciting to see. So, and I'm sure they can all improve, and Sven is just coming to the, well, I say final corner, it's turning 16 now.
So he's just starting his next time lap. Then we're looking at Segura at the moment, who has not put a time on the board, but he's coming. Oh, he's just coming through turn 16 himself through the last few turns to put a time on the board. Now I've just had a message, and it's slightly different to what we thought previously. So let's just see what Segura puts on the board, and it is... The line is a hell of a long way down. I mean, that's a damn long straight. Those engines are screaming their heads off as they are heading to complete the lap. It's 1:41.7, so Segura will not be best pleased with that. Just going to double check this message I've just had, and that is intermediate conditions at the start and throughout. So that was slightly different to what I was told first time. So, interesting.
It's interesting, some of the drivers might be getting slightly different information. I don't know if all the drivers get the same information. You would have thought they do, but you definitely can't be 100% sure on that, as Sven is on a good lap. He's currently coming up to the challenging section of 8 through to 12. Such a hard section, so easy to hit a wheel on the back. It's a little bit like Monaco, that section, and then the track sort of is still quite tight, and then it starts to widen up, and you have this relatively high-speed corner of turn. You have turn 13, 14, then you have 15, which is a medium-speed corner. You need to brake quite early because it's down a hill. You don't want to be hitting the exit. There's a car in front of Sven, which is Fizzy, who's stopped in the middle of the track. Hopefully he doesn't have any issues. Sven comes around the final corner of turn 16, and it's now flat all the way until turn 20. It's lucky these guys don't have DRS. Well, we used to be able to use DRS at all points on the track, but now they can only use it in the designated sections, which in this particular case, the DRS detection zone is just before turn 16. Sven is coming across the line, set at 40.2, that moves him up 1 position to P4.
And by 13 thousandths of a second behind Fabrizio Donoso as well. Fizzy is now on his time lap, so he will now finally get a time on the board. New pole time by, oh my goodness me, by 13 thousandths of a second. It's Topar, or using his official name, his actual name. And
Carlos crashed.
Oh no!
Major crash. His front wings out. That's his qualifying session over. He will start at the very best P12.
Wow.
Ravens in P3. Okay. I was going to say I expect him up there. Fizzy had a really bad preparation lap because he had to jump out of the way on Sven. So it'll be interesting how Fizzy gets on with this lap. His tyres would have been slightly cold coming to turn 1. I'm not sure what his set times are at the moment, but he hasn't set a lap, so this lap really does need to count.
Indeed, so as Fizzy then, and he gets that tail out, so that's really not going to help him. Qualifying is now officially completed. 3 minutes for anybody to complete the laps they are on, which is, of course, long enough. Here, Baku. Oh, big lock up then as he gets that tail twitching out. Formula Danny has just taken the top spot with a 1:39.5. My God, he's taken 4 tenths off of Topar. Ooh, I mean, you were citing 39.7 as the top time, and Formula Danny has just smashed it.
I mean, Jesus, BC Sports podium sitters, they're nothing to Formula Danny. I'm going to say this is an absolutely shocking lap. He's going to be lucky if he gets a 3-2.
Oh dear.
Oh no. Oh dear. So
That's 42.
42, yeah.
42 too, so...
He's going to be disappointed. Interestingly, you mentioned earlier on about the line being so far towards turn 1. There's only 200 metres to turn 1. That's the same as Monaco, so pole is quite important in terms of the run down to turn 1.
Slick has made a mistake. He's buried that in the...
Sorry to interrupt, Kodiak. Sven just gone P2. He climbed another 2 positions.
He did. Raven was actually heading down towards the line, but he's chosen to pit. So yeah, Sven with a 1:39.908, still 4 tenths off of what Formula Danny managed. Oh, goodness me. Hello, welcome to you. I don't know how you say this. Nelly Tuk. Is this Q2? No, there was only one qualifying session in this game. I was saying this game in our leagues. Just the one 12-minute qualifying session. So it is just Q3 that all present drivers get to have a crack at. I think that is everyone dealt with. So I'm going to try and sort out what on earth is going on volume-wise with you, Mr. Hamish. I don't know what is going on here.
Yeah, you want to go to playback devices and then communications, and you want the do nothing tick.
Leave it alone.
Yes. Anyway, we will be getting the qualifying results up very soon, so I'll be able to go through that any minute now. I don't know who is still on track. Oh no, there's people like Raven coming to pits. And here we go, we have Formula Danny in pole at 39.5. An unbelievable lap time. That's 4 tenths ahead of Sven. In third, we have Johnny Tomler, that is Topar. Then we have Timp, ACR Raven, Fab Racer, Baylor, Arox, Max, and Slick. Top 10 covered by 1.5 seconds. It would have been closer, but Danny's just too quick.
Wow.
In P11, so currently outside of the top 10, and a free choice of tyres, we have Sergo, Kalon, ACR Nobody, Fizzy, and Ryko Gordon. For those of you who are new viewers, and I have seen we have some, especially for the Xbox side, that's RS Falcon. So if you know RS Falcon, that is Ryko Gordon. He hasn't set.
Yeah, he had that crash earlier on, so yeah, he's started came across, but he will be starting at the back of the field. Right. So we now wait for everybody to get connected to the session, and we will then get this underway. Yes, for some reason my Windows had decided to reduce everything by 80%, so I told it to stop messing about, and we have indeed got the rain pouring down here in Azerbaijan. So doesn't look like there's much standing water, so it is going to be intermediate conditions.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that transpires to full wet. We obviously had Canada that went from dry to intermediate. We haven't had a race starting on wets yet. So this will be interesting to see how these drivers, track knowledge is key in the wet, because your braking points change, your turning points will change, how you use your throttle and brake will change, and possibly some of these poor lap times we were seeing from other drivers, such as, I don't know, Fizzy, for example, maybe he's running a very high downforce for this wet weather.
Why are people that are sat above the pit garages got umbrellas? They've got a canopy over their heads.
Yes, I know.
Right, here we go then.
Fun for everyone else.
5 lights, wind them up, and let them go. Can the Haas hold off that ever-charging Red Bull? My goodness me, that's Timp and the Mercedes that's made a move. This could be a chance for Topar to try and take the lead into turn 1. He can't quite get the power down. The Haas hangs on to that one. There's movement up and down the field. Lots of people swapping positions. Danny, hang on to that. Look at the Force India against the Williams there. That's Fabrizio Donoso and Raven. Raven hangs on to that 4th position. Danny holding off Topar at the moment. So at least we know there's not going to be a DRS with the conditions the way they are. And Topar was very, very cautious.
Raven's locked up and he's falling to the back, and so there's Max. They've gone down the run-off area.
Oh no! That's going to take Max a very long time to get out of there. Sven is at the back as well. He's listed in 15th for some reason, but he's actually he's
P2 for me.
Yeah, he's P2 on screen, but on my screen he's listed as last. So that's a bit of a strange one. I don't understand for why. Oh no, there we go. The game has suddenly remembered where he actually is. So Sven having a great start, getting up to 2nd position. Formula Danny holding on to the lead at the moment. What a disaster for Raven, but what an even bigger disaster for Max.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think those two collided. Raven just went down with slip road when Max decided to follow. I don't know if that's a contact thing. We haven't seen anything as of yet, so it'll be interesting to see if Raven says anything about that after the race. And actually, the track looks quite dry.
It does, but the rain is persistent. So Sven does look, in certain places, he actually looks a little bit cautious. We also saw Topar bouncing off the barriers a little bit earlier on. Danny trying to get himself a bit of a gap. He's got himself nearly a second as the tail really kicking out. Looks like Topar's going to line up and move on the Red Bull. There he goes. And Sven's gone straight to the inside, but that Mercedes is going to be long since passed before the braking zone. So that is second position back to Topar. He'll be very pleased with that. And I think everyone is on intermediate. Oh, go on.
Denoso pit.
Oh dear! So the new addition to the Force Indy team having a problem already. One would assume that is damage related. See if we can find him. No, I didn't see a front wing change. Well, I did cut to him a little bit late. So new inters on here. I wonder what's going on there. Interesting.
Is bizarre. Okay, well, we'll keep you up to date on that if we
find
any other information.
Danny suddenly shot across, I think a little earlier than he may have wanted to the left-hand side of the track, but has kept it out of the wall. Danny leads, Sven in second, Topard third, and Timp in fourth, and very, very short succession. Then you've got 3.5 seconds down to Failer. There he is in the Sauber. He has Arox in the second Mercedes for company. It's like Kalon that's lost a position. Oh, we just see we've got a big old chain of cars here. This consists of there's Failer, there's Arox, there is Slick in the McLaren. You can see ACR Nobody is there in the second Red Bull. There is Segro in the next McLaren with Kalon right with him. On the Kalon's nose there, so go very, very cautious through that 8 through 12 rise. Riker Gordon right there in the Ferrari. Fizzy trying to keep his nose clean as well as he kicks the tail out on that Pink Panther. There's Raven. He's caught back up with the pack after his slight misgivings. There's Denoso after his very early pit stop, and Max is 3.5 seconds off the back of him. Terrible start for the Sauber.
Yeah, I mean, Slick and Arox are having a fantastic battle. Slick almost overtook Arox. In fact, Arox is very slow at the moment, so I think we'll probably see Slick pass any second now. And it will be interesting to see if the stewards decide to enable DRS. In fact, Arox must have damage because he is so slow. And it looks like Sergo and Nobody going to be inside of a McLaren. And Sergo just taking P6, Arox is in P7, Nobody in P8. And yes, Alex is in the pits. As I suspected, he must have damage because he is very slow around those high-speed corners.
Oh, is that Segro that's having a look on the inside at turn one? Can't call.
Slick.
Oh, Slick, I beg your pardon. 3-1. Oh, goodness me, that didn't really pay off. Segro hanging on to that sixth position then, under all kinds of pressure. There, that's Kalon. I believe it is. Or was that? No, I can't. Kalon. Oh, it is Kalon. It was Kalon was the car I was thinking of in the inside of that turn two. He is still managing to keep going. And Fabrizio Donato is in the pit again.
Oh my god, how bizarre is that? I will keep an eye on this. It's taking them a long time. I don't know what the issue is.
Dear. Oh, we have mounting cars again. ACR Nobody and Segro. It all seems to be these two. It's always the McLaren and the Red Bull, isn't it? That seems to be bouncing off of one another. So we think ACR Nobody is ahead of Segro at the moment, but look at that big old train behind them. Let's keep an eye on where our leaders are. There's these four cars still separated by less than a second each one.
Oh!
Go on.
Oh no, sorry, no, they're
bouncing again.
Side by side, but whether that was an issue of bouncing.
Yeah, it's going to be a sync issue, so you're going to have to kind of let the contact sort itself out before thinking what it is actually doing. Kalon is trying to get to grips with this car in the wet. Slick is still holding off Raven, who's gone up to 10th position now ahead of Riker Gordon. So Raven is on a bit of a chance trying to get back up through the field. But I'm wanting to keep an eye on this top four. Formula Danny still leading the way ahead of Sven. Topar still holding that third. Timp is still lurking in that fourth position. One mistake and he is in a prime position to capitalise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it looks like the top three are kind of, at the moment, they seem to be in a bit of a groove.
Oh dear! Oh, sorry, that was Sven getting very, very close.
Yes.
And we have lost Fabrizio Donoso. Oh no!
I can only assume he's had some pretty major issues with his game. So I'm going to get onto that and see if we can find any more.
Yeah, something has clearly gone wrong. Is his AI was actually determined to ram his car into the wall. As Seagro's in trouble. Oh no, Seagro is. I was looking at. Yeah, Seagro is giving the Red Bull a bit of a piggyback along that back straight, heading down to turn 3. I have no idea which car is ahead of who at the moment. They will sort themselves out. I think Red Bull is actually ahead of McLaren, but yeah. Thanks, Codemasters. That one still isn't sorted.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing. I mean, we don't. There could be some really good racing going on, which we're not able to catch.
There's some great racing going on here at the front, though, as Topar now really on Sven's case. Sven's made a mistake somewhere. He's fallen a second back from Formula Danny, and that's allowed the Mercedes to close right in on the Red Bull, and Sven's got a lot of Mercedes in his rearview mirrors to deal with.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. I'm just looking at everyone's fuel scenario, and Danny has virtually none in reserve, but all the people behind him have about 2 laps to play with, which is going to play huge into their advantage towards the end of the race. So I wonder if the DRS had been enabled. I didn't actually pay any attention.
I haven't seen it open.
It can be opened in the intermediate conditions, but it's sort of 50-50 on whether FIA deem it safe.
I haven't seen anyone open it yet, so I'm assuming that it's a no-go at the moment, as we see Topar is fallen back from Sven. Sven's had a great run through 16 through to 20, those last corners, and closed back in a few tenths on Formula Danny. And Tim still minding his own business at the back of that quartet.
Yeah, Raven has just overtaken Kalon for P9. He's on a recovery drive at the moment. He's 3 positions down from where he qualified in 5th, so he'll be wanting to do as much as he can to get back up the grid. However, in fairness, he's not. It could be worse. I mean, he's only about 4 seconds behind Sergo, who is in P6, and then from there, actually, there's a realistic possibility he could move himself up the grid, maybe as high as 3rd, and Failer's just beached it in the wall.
Oh
so
no!
Sergo's going to go past, nobody's going to go past, and Raven is right on his tail. So I was talking about Raven catching up Failer, but not quite like that.
Yeah, Failer giving Raven a bit of a helping hand, although Raven's not quite got up to him yet. We're seeing quite a few tails wagging in these wet conditions. And question in the chat, was the rain broadcaster for the entire race? That is the information we have been given. Is someone did say full wets, and as you can see, it is intermediate at the moment. So we understand that the rain is going to persist all race long. So we will see how that transpires. But I would imagine if the conditions are not going to change, people are going to settle into the normal rhythms. But yeah, like you mentioned earlier, Hamish, if Formula Danny is running a bit light on fuel, it's going to bite him because he has not been able to break away too far from Sven.
Absolutely. I mean, fuel around here is like gold dust. I mean, with 2 kilometers of straight, the difference between rich and standard is going to be about half a second alone down the straight. So it is going to pay huge dividends.
They're in an oil nation. Why can't they just pull over and fill up?
Oh, exactly. I don't know what the issue is. You know, it's coming out of the ears. Sven's just set the fastest lap. He's gained on Danny by a couple of attempts, actually, over the last 2 laps. So he is making some progress. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, being on the intermediates, as Danny goes very wide, that's not actually, he has some good grip out there. Being on the intermediates, these drivers don't need to pit. It's not like they can make any strategy call they want now. It's not like starting on dry tyres.
But we've seen this track already bite quite a few drivers, so we will see how these guys hold their nerve and hold their lines through these remaining 20 laps. We're seeing Tim fall off the back of this pack a little bit. He could be saving fuel, he could be saving tyres. Well, it's not likely he's going to be saving tyres, is he?
No, not tyres, but he is saving fuel. He is in lead. However, we did see Tim use this strategy slightly earlier in the race. I know we're only on lap 6, but he did fall back and then he tried to come close. I'm not sure if there's any heat issues he's experiencing, or if he just wants to get out of that slipstream and run in a little bit of clear air. Sometimes a certain driving style suits certain drivers, and when they have this understeer being in the dirty air, it really affects them. So Tim might be one of those drivers. He is, of course, a very solid drivers, Tim. He's leading the championship by 22 points. So he can afford not to win this race, although it is Danny he is up against.
Oh, that's Topar that's gone way too deep in that 10-16. I was just thinking he's closing in on Sven. He was only 3/10 back, rather. But he's just had a massive lock-up into that 10-16 and lost almost 8/10 or so on the Red Bull. But Danny's had a great drive out of that last turn. He's built up about a second, give or take, over the Red Bull. And Mercedes is able to reel in Sven a little bit on that back straight, so Sven didn't have a great drive through 17 through to 20, and on they continue in their positions.
Yeah, but following this train, I don't know if sometimes you get into a groove when you're racing. I know it looks fast when you look at the broadcast and the on-board shots, but it becomes quite slow, to be honest, which sounds a bit strange. 200 miles an hour definitely is not, but you get into a groove. They're just following suit, sticking to the strategy, and the hard racing will come later on in the game, later on in the race, unless we have a race like Russia, which was absolutely hectic.
Well, they're way too spaced out for us to repeat. I mean, Sochi was one of a kind. That was a fabulous race. I hope we do get a repeat of it, but I doubt it. That really was incredible. Someone else I want to keep an eye on is Raven. He's right on Failure's case now, half a second between the two. And we've already seen Failure come a cropper to a mistake earlier in the Sauber. And Raven is keeping that pressure on. For the time being, he's got 4 seconds between Failure and ATR Nobody to break down. And, now, I want to jump back up to the front because suddenly they've all become a second apart. So, Formula Danny has suddenly had a great run. He's got someone ahead of him. I'm assuming that's Arox. It's got to be Arox. No, it isn't. Who was that in front of Danny then? Or is my game playing silly buggers with me again?
It's not going to be Denoso, is it? No,
surely his car is in the pits. No, it's... Yeah, I swear I saw someone ahead of Formula Danny just now, but they seem to have vanished, so...
Yes, I can't say anything on my screen. Raven's lap times have been better than Failure's, about a second lap. Raven's currently setting, was setting 56s, 156s. You can see the top guys with about 55.3 from Sven. That is a norm at the moment for those leaders.
Topar and Timp both in the pits, and a new front wing for Topar.
Oh, interesting. Sorry I interrupted you there. I probably shouldn't have, as they came into the pit, but it looks like, in fact, a new front wing for Timp as well. So they've been in the wars. So it's going to be interesting. Do one of them jump each other in the pits? It doesn't look like.
No, they've come back out in the same same order they went in, but they are at the back of a big old train. I think that's Kalon that's just gone past them. So it's Kalon, Riker Gordon and Slick that they've now got in a short train ahead of them. But it's interesting that they were able to keep up with Sven and Danny with broken front wings. So either the top two have got dead front wings as well, or they were doing a damn good job keeping up with the Haas and Red Bull respectively.
Yes, I can't see any damage on their wings. However, lap 8 is very early, I think. So we could see a 2-stop, in fact. And is it just me or has the rain stopped?
No, it's still going on my screen.
Okay. It just looks like it's a little bit clear at the front. I wonder if it's going to be dry enough for them to go onto the dry compound tyres. Because, I mean, the softs, for example, they will last about 22 laps. So, if they were to pit now, then they could easily get to the end.
We will see. Now, I'm going to keep an eye on... again, you see a big old tail wag from Sven there. Although he had still got a decent drive out of 10-16, so it could be the game exaggerating that a little bit. Do either of them come in, I wonder? Let's see.
Could be interesting. I mean, I don't know how powerful the undercut is, but considering how early... Well, it looks like Sven... Oh, he isn't coming in. He sort of gives a bit of a dummy... Sven, 54.9, that's very quick. I don't think his tires are going off at all.
Oh, crikey, he really has closed in on Danny now, so the pressure all on the Haas, as we kind of thought it might be, because every single fastest lap has gone to that Red Bull for the last.
Oh, sorry, Timber's just bailed it. Oh my gosh, he's buried it in the barrier. He got a massive oversteer moment in turn 17, and he will be coming into the pits, I would imagine.
Yeah, he's just come out.
He has a front wing.
No, he doesn't. He's only just put that front wing on. So, that's disaster for the championship leader.
Gutting for Tim. I mean, that's going to be hard. I mean, Danny is 22 points ahead of Tim at the moment in the championship. We see Johnny Tomler have a move on Kalon, possibly around the outside of. I don't have my bearings.
That's turn 3.
Turn 3 and a nice little move there by Topar, obviously on the fresh tyres.
Indeed, so that is a job done then for Topar to come up to 9th position ahead of Kalon. Also, as Bridget mentioned, with those fresh tyres on, that's Slick and Riker Gordon already ahead of them. So yeah, Timp is 16 seconds off the back of Arox then, and that is a pretty... Not the way he wanted his race to go, I'm sure. Holding on to 4th pretty well for a period of time. Let's jump back up to our front 2. And again, Danny is able just to break away a little bit from the Red Bull, but not enough to ever feel comfortable. I wonder how much he's playing on Danny's mind, knowing who it is that's right behind him.
Yes, I don't know. I mean, I'm bearing in mind, Danny was F1 Esports semi-finalist. He has some seriously good speed. I'm sure these drivers have probably raced each other in some form before. But, I mean, I think Danny's an absolutely fine driver. How smooth he is. I mean, he's been able to,
Oh, big mistake! Big mistake for Sven! Oh, we saw him actually looking up. I was actually on board with him as Secret comes into the pit from 3rd position. That is disaster for the Red Bull. He kept it out of the wall, but he's lost a colossal amount of time.
Ooh, that's not good for Sven. That's 5 whole seconds. If he was to pit now, he could be coming out well behind nobody, and was probably not Raven, but definitely nobody.
Seeger is still in the pits. I think he had a front wing change as well, which I suppose is fairly common on a street circuit in the wet. Is to be expected a fair amount of front wing changes. He's going to come out right by Max and Arox. As Slick has just lost a position. What's going on here? That would be that'll be Topar. Again, those fresh tyres paying off yet again at turn 3. That Mercedes is on a charge. He's wanted to make up for lost time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Topar's going to be disappointed. I mean, he is 31 seconds behind. The pit stop round here takes about.
Oh, we've lost Segro. He's now a ghost.
Oh, that's odd. Did he just disconnect?
Yeah, straight disconnect. If he's able to... So he's had a game malfunction. It's uncertain whether he will be able to reappear or not. Generally, from what I've seen before, when they get to this point, they can't rejoin. Go on.
Oh, I was going to say, Topar just hit the barrier. Now, I'm going to have a look, see if he has any external damage, because that would not be good at all.
Arox is off! Sorry to cut over you there. Arox has gone off. I'm trying to figure out where that is. Oh, he's getting slippery all over. And he slammed it into the wall. Okay, he had a really big moment there. He ghosted and then just cannoned off. And, he was actually going to go off down to... he was going down Count Baku by the look of that. He was actually looking to leave the circuit very, 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 very early.
Yeah, I mean, he was going... I don't know... I'm not entirely sure if that is... that looked like his throttle just got stuck on full. That's a very bizarre incident. It looks like Topar's just set the fastest lap at 54.6. That's good progress for him.
Riker Gordon.
A move with Riker Gordon and Slick. Falcon goes down the inside. Slick has a switchback. Now he is going to be in the slipstream now in turn 2 to 3. Gordon goes a little bit wide. It's a good exit from Slick. He's gaining. They're both on rich mixture. And Slick is going to have the inside, braking at about 125 meters. And let's hope they don't touch. Gordon doesn't hit the outside. He's going to have the inside now for turn 5 and 4. I don't know, 7. 4. Still side by
they're still side by side heading down towards turn 5. So now it becomes a advantage. McLaren. Riker Gordon is still in there. It's a little bit of a nudge. It's going to put the McLaren in the wall slightly. They're still going. That is Slick doing his best to hang on to that, and he can't quite. That last tap with the barrier has ensured that he remains in that 8th position. But that battle went on a long time, and it doesn't look like it's done yet.
No, it doesn't. I mean, in fact, I think it's lucky that we didn't lose 2 more drivers from trying to go side by side from turns 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I mean, that is such a tight section. I mean, you have no idea how difficult it is to get that 100% for 26 laps. So I'm surprised we haven't seen more people go out at that point.
So far, I saw that.
Really
He's gained a second since obviously that big lockup incident a couple of laps ago. Topar is right with failure now. That's going to be a straight pass on the start finish straight on board with the Mercedes. You can see how much more pace he has than the Sauber, and it flies through as Raven goes into the pits from 4th position. And another fastest lap, that would be Slipstream aided before the Mercedes. So don't discount Topar. He is on a charge.
No, absolutely. He's getting very quick. It takes about 22 seconds to do a stop round here, and he was 31 seconds behind. He's now 27. That is massively faster. If he can get and pass nobody, I think he's going to be the leader of this race by the time Danny and Sven come in, saying they come in a bit later on. However, they can probably pit now and get away with it. It's still a little bit too early.
We just saw Tim go through the pits for the second time, of course, losing his new front wing the lap he came out. He's 5 seconds behind Ravens. Tim is actually back in the points, so he could still do something about it. Bearing in mind how many replacement front wings we've seen. We've just seen Raven get a new front wing on his Williams. He's out in 9th position now, so he's got 10 seconds to make up on Fizzy in 8th position. So there's still a lot of position changes to go through at the moment.
Yeah, Alex has just left the session, obviously he will not be. He wouldn't be coming back into the race anyway.
No, he's not with the way he finished off his car. Big, massive oversea moment there for Topar. He smacked the curb really hard and just completely unsettled the tail. Really well held to keep that out of the wall. And he's continuing his charge. He's got ACR nobody ahead of him, and then 20 seconds on to Sven to continue the charge towards the front. We have a problem in sector 1. It looks like Segro. Segro's disconnected, isn't he? So, that's his ghost that is probably causing the yellow flag there.
Max just overtook Segro, which is why we've seen that issue. Nobody is in the pits. He was 9 positions up from his qualifying position. That's a 3 position for Johnny Tomola, and he's now 26 seconds behind him. In fact, Sven, why has he just only lost 7 seconds to Danny? That is very bizarre.
Yeah, we didn't see that, unfortunately. And it looks like nobody didn't have a front wing change, so that's going to help him massively. As Fizzy comes in as well for the Pink Panthers. So I'm assuming nobody's on his way. He is. So he lost. He came in from 3rd, so he's down to 7th. That is going to help him massively at this point. Where's Fizzy? Does he get a front wing change? No, he is at a belting stop. So he could get back in the points pretty quickly as well. He's been struggling this season, so he will enjoy a points haul if he's able to get hold of it. Riker Gordon's 10 positions up from his start. Of course, he had that problem in qualifying where he binned his car, so he will be wanting to get a points haul for the back of the field Ferrari team at the moment. But yes, Sven, what happened to him? We saw... I was like, no, that's not what I meant to do.
He's still losing time as well. I mean, it was 10.9. Oh, he's got a little bit of a moment there. He just got a little bit too much on the curve. Man, balance the car. I wonder if he's going to pit. It doesn't look like he has front wing damage, but we will find out very shortly. I wonder if Danny's going to come into pit. Now Sven's had his issues, and he is veering over to the left-hand side.
And in he comes.
Danny is in the pit. So it'll be interesting if Sven decides to follow. I imagine he would. He has no advantage of staying out. And it'll be interesting now to see where Topar comes out. So both of the leaders are in the pit.
Sven really struggled to get that Red Bull slowed down, so I would not be at all surprised to see a new front wing on the Red Bull. What's Danny? Oh, he's already gone, so Sven's not even stopped yet, and Danny has gone on his way. Topar is now in 2nd position in the Mercedes, so he'll be smiling with that one.
Close.
But that was a really quick stop, so no front wing change for Sven then. So he wasn't damaged, it's just mistakes he's made in these wet conditions. That just proves that anyone, no matter how good you are, can make a mistake. Failer comes in from 4th. Riker Gordon comes in from 5th position. Slick now has gone through into 4th position. I don't think he's stopped yet. No, he hasn't. So he's the lead car that hasn't stopped yet. So ACR Nobody directly behind him has stopped. Raven is now up to 6th position. He's stopped. And Fader and Riker Gordon, the only other 2 cars that hadn't stopped up to that stage. So Slick is really ringing those tyres a long way.
Yeah, Slick is. I mean, I don't know what his pace is. I'm going to have a quick look at the moment. They're setting 54s is like the pace at the very top. Slick's currently setting. Oh dear, that's Slick's times are rubbish. About 1:59. So he is losing a lot of time. Quite quickly, but I don't know, maybe he's waiting for the track to dry out, and it is actually looking like the cloud coverage is clearing. I don't know about you, but as we're on board with some of these drivers going down certain directions, you can see some clear sky. If you look at Formula Danny, for example, just in front of him is a nice little patch of blue.
Yeah, I could just see the clouds are beginning to break up a little bit, but the rain is still falling, so there's no sign as we've gone over the halfway stage, there's no particular sign of the weather conditions changing. Kalon is all over the back of the Sauber of Failure at the moment, so we'll see if Kalon is able to get a pass. Yeah, the big old bolt of sunshine actually as you're looking uphill from 8 through to 12, so we might see a last ditch run on those on the soft tyres at the end of the race. ACR Nobody right with Slick now as Slick is losing time hand over fist. Surely the McLaren is going to come in. He's going to be absolutely mugged by the Red Bull. He is still defending though, to be fair, and well, why not? He's perfectly entitled to. So this surely is going to be a pretty straightforward pass for ACR Nobody. We have a problem in Sector 1. We don't know who.
Yes, we do. It's Sven. He's went right in turn 1. How many mistakes does Sven have to make before he realises he's throwing away potential podium as nobody overtakes Slick at a pretty crucial time, to be honest, because he's not. If Sven keeps making mistakes, nobody's going to be on the podium.
It could be. I mean, from having applying all that pressure into the first. Oh, another problem in Sector 1. It's Raven. Raven's also overshot it at turn 2, so that is catching a few drivers out. He's on his way. Uncertain at the moment whether he has had an interaction with the wall. When the camera changes, we'll see his front wing to see if he has bounced off of it. That looks fairly intact, and he was able to slow down okay for turn 3, so a bit of an overshoot there for Raven and nothing more, it would seem.
Yeah, I mean, Danny is doing a sterling effort in P1. Timp, he was actually closing in on Danny, but he had a little bit of an argument with the wall in turn 10. There's a little bit of debris actually on the exit of turn 13.
Yeah, I just seen that.
Danny, I'm going to have a look on broadcast and update you with that.
Danny's wing looks okay, and his car seems to be sticking fairly well through the final turns. There you just see in the back of the shot is Topar, or Joni Tormala. So he is within 3 seconds of the lead, so Danny can't relax entirely. No pit stop for Danny then, so if he does have damage, he's living with it. But Topar, was that Topar coming into the pits? It is! So the debris may well have been the Mercedes. What a disaster for Topar!
Yeah, that's an argument with the wall he had in the castle section, which is that Monaco-esque, ultra-thin area. Now, if the intermediate tyres going on, I imagine Sven is going to overtake him, although, yes, he's already overtaken him.
But it's not going to be much, though. We've seen Sven really struggling. So it could well be that there's going to be a battle between the Red Bull and the Mercedes before long.
Yes, I mean... So Topar came out in P3, and like you said, hopefully we will see a battle for P3. I mean, it's no coincidence that the esports guys are in P1, 2 and 3, and at the moment Danny might even be able to consider another pit stop and get some extra life out of his tyres.
Slick is just locking up everywhere now. We were just looking at him as I noticed the time was close between himself and Tim, as Tim has regained that 5th position from the McLaren. Slick, come on man, get that car in. There is no point you struggling on. You're well over the halfway stage. Get that car in and get rid of those boots. They have had enough, unless he is banking on the rain stopping and going for a dry. Surely, that's the only reason you string him out, as we've got another problem in Sector 1. It's not Sven again, is it? No,
no, it's the Force India of AOR Fizzy. He's doing about a 20-point turn, and Max has overtaken him now. Oh dear. It looks like these drivers are just... Everyone's made a mistake apart from Danny. I mean, Danny is just so consistent. He's so fast. It's unbelievable.
He is the wet weather king at the moment, so he's having a whale of a time now. 19 seconds clear of the Red Bull of Sven. Poor old Seeger at the back there, of a minute down from next position, which is now Fizzy. Sadly, that would seem to be the end of hope for points for Fizzy, unless something drastically changes in the weather. Raven is getting close to Slick now, as they are coming down to turn 16. That, again, I would imagine is going to be an easy pass. Goodness me, Raven nearly did it on the exit of turn 16, and whoa, he's having a thing on into 17. He's not wanting to lose any time. He can see how slow that McLaren is. Come on, Slick, get that car in. There is no point now. You've just been completely mugged through 17.
It doesn't look like he's coming in. It just doesn't look like he's going. He's not. Oh my God!
What's he doing?
Slick. He has to be banking.
He's
got to be banking. I mean, when we looked at him, he was 25 seconds behind in P3 or 4, I believe, when we last paid attention. He's now 42. That's like 17 seconds. That's a pit stop. So really, he should have pitted by now.
Jesse in chat, that is a McLaren Honda. Yes, I grant you that. But he's not doing himself any favours with those tyres. Failer is now getting onto the back of that McLaren. Again, you look at the sky, it does look like the sky is beginning to get blue, but that is... If he pulls this off and recovers from this, he will be a genius. He'll be a strategic genius if he manages to pull off a recovery from there.
Yeah, unfortunately for Slick, but other drivers also have eyes, so...
Yeah.
So we'll have to find out, but we have seen some strategic geniuses.
Yeah.
I think it was earlier on in the season. I'm afraid I can't remember who it was, but we saw a fantastic strategy where the driver came from right at the back and catapulted his way to second place in the end. I think it was someone like Toper or Timp. They just played a fantastic strategy call. So it's not to say it can't be done, and it is clearing up a little bit. The rain's not particularly heavy, but I don't think it's ready for dries yet.
No.
It does sound like the track is drying out.
Yeah, but it's not happening quick enough for it to be of any benefit or comfort to Slick at the moment. The field is fairly spaced out. We have 13 drivers still going. Question in chat, some of these guys are esports. Yes, some of these contenders did indeed take part in the esports events. Sven in second, John Dormala in third, and Fabracer, who sadly is out of this event, were all part of the finale.
And also not the semi-finalists included Danny in that as well. So
contact, Albert, sorry to cut you off again. That's Failer and as the ever-struggling Slick coming to grief on the exit of turn 2, I believe it was.
Yes, hopefully they haven't got any damage by that. I mean, Failer should be able to match us Slick fairly easily. We'll have to find out. I mean, this isn't a brilliant overtaking area, to be honest with you.
Failer does look pretty stuck behind that McLaren. The timings are relatively spaced out at the moment. This is the closest battle we have, so let's just have a look at where our contenders are. There is Formula Danny, who has had a pretty good run so far. He started from pole and was under early pressure, but has seen off that pressure and leads by 19 seconds over the reserve driver of Sven, who joined us this week. He is reserve driving for Brandon Lee, who is the esports champion, as we all know, who is at another event this evening. So Sven, who was seen off by Brandon in the finale, I still find that a funny irony, continues in second, just shy of 20 seconds down. Topar, or Johnny Tormala, 4 seconds down from Sven. I think they are just sticking to their rhythm at the moment. There's still a fair number of laps to go, so that is not surprising, but we may well see battles come together towards the end of the race. ACR nobody in the second Red Bull, so I just saw someone go into the pit, I'm pretty sure. I did, it was Segro from last. I saw a McLaren going in, so finally it's got in. No, wrong McLaren. Segro is in again, but that's his ghosted car. Oh, go on.
Oh no, No, I was going to say Slick was coming in. He's just letting Failer through on the outside.
What is he doing? Is he determined to do a zero-stop race? This is a Project Cars, dear boy. You never get away with it properly. In Project Cars, you can do that. In GT3 racing, you can do that. You can't do that in F1 racing. It just doesn't work.
I mean, if his only goal is to get points, then he might be able to beat Max in P11. But then he's only starting where he's only finishing where he started, and the idea of the race is to improve on your qualifying position, which is unlikely, I think.
Indeed. There was a problem in Sector 2, but I didn't. That yellow flag disappeared fairly quick. Failer then has gotten past, has already built up 2 seconds over Slick, and you can see in the background there that is Kalon in the next Toro Rosso bearing down on the struggling McLaren.
Oh, hang on. I just want to have a look, but I think Johnny Tomlin has lost his entire front wing.
He has. Yes, we did see that yellow flag, and there it is. Oh no, Topar!
Nobody's closing in on at a pretty fast rate of knocks. In fact, he is gonna fall back to probably P6 or 7 when after he comes in as Johnny. So that is not good at all.
Oh dear. We did see that yellow flag, but unfortunately we don't get any information as to who or why until Hamish has spotted that one. Oh, he nearly took his front right off coming into the pits. Struggles to slow the car down. It's going to be catastrophic then as Timp now goes up to 4th. ACR Nobody into the podium positions. Let's see who else he's going to lose out to. ACR Raven is through to 5th then. Failer is not going to catch him. There's still... oh no, no sooner do I say that, he's just flown past. So Failer's gone through, Slick's gone through, Slick still hasn't pitted. Kalon is through. So Topar is going to come out still in the pits, in the points rather, just. So he comes out in 10th position behind Riker Gordon.
Yes, the good thing about where Topaz came out is there is actually quite an exciting little battle from 6th all the way down to 10th. They're pretty close, they're only 10 seconds apart. So
Kalon!
that's going to be an exciting...
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Kalon.
No, I'm just on board with that battle as well.
Oh, Timp and Nobody! They are pretty close, so both the Toro Rossos having a battle with someone.
Flick has just put it in the wall.
I'm not surprised with the amount of traction he hasn't got. Riker Gordon then is going to pretty much blast past him at a convenient point in that Ferrari, but Timp is shaping up. He's within a second now of ACR Nobody. So we are going to have a challenge for 3rd position for Timp.
Yeah, so it should be quite exciting now. After this turn 16, they're on to the main straight. They won't have DRS unless it's just been enabled, which I don't think it has been. So Timp is in the slipstream. He has a little bit more fuel than Nobody. He's in the rich mixture, going down that long 2-kilometer back straight. And let's see if he can do anything into turn 1. If not, he might be able to have another go at turn 3. I don't think he's gaining, actually.
Not there, no. If anything, he is gaining, but not anywhere near quick enough to mount a challenge on the Red Bull, as Slick has lost 2 positions as the Ferrari and the Mercedes fly past him. Oh no!
My God! Rico Gordon! And
Topar
and both hit the wall. They're both going to come to a pit shortly. I don't know
what the Merc is.
Saw that. Why isn't Slick coming in? Okay,
he's determined not to pit. So yet again, Topar comes in, and I thought he was going to do that. He actually sped up on the entrance to the pit. He's got himself a 5-second stop go as well, which isn't going to be served this time.
Dry tyres.
Why not? He's got nothing to lose at this point. He's got the super soft tyres on. This is probably the softest compound that's been brought. It does look like, though, that it has stopped raining. I can't see any rain.
I can see rain.
Oh no,
pit lane,
yeah.
But it might not be the same for the rest of the track. I'm going to keep an eye on Topaz, see what his sector times are.
Indeed. So he is 14 seconds down from Fizzy in 11th. I think he has... he may have actually run out of wet tyres.
Possibly, but you can put on old wet tyres as well. But
Okay.
yes.
I keep doing that. I keep pressing escape when I don't mean to. There was a problem in Sector 1. I wondered if that was actually Topar. Slick has got someone else for company. It is Max in the other Sauber, so that's going to be a pass as well. Let's get back up to 10th then. This is the battle for 3rd position. This is going to go to the flag, these two, as nobody had a bit of a tank slapper there on the exit of turn 19. His tip is definitely much closer this time to the Red Bull. He's not gaining. If anything, nobody's just got a little bit more speed at this stage. Is just able to keep the Toro Rosso behind. But Timp is reading him in lap on lap. So that battle is by no means done. We've got less than 5 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty exciting to see the Tim Nobody battle. I mean, nobody's gained 10 positions on his starting position. What a fantastic race he's had so far. So, hats off to him. So, yeah, very good.
Slick
very
has
good.
indeed lost that position to Max. So he is determined to throw away as many points as he possibly can. And he's probably not going to bother pitting now with less than 5 to go. And he does continue on his merry way. I don't know what is going through that man's head. Let's see how Topar's doing actually on those soft tyres.
Well, he seems okay. It's not massively slow. He's coming across the line now, so it'll be interesting to see what his 3rd sector time. Oh, actually, that's really competitive. In fact, that's the fastest sector time of a race.
He's actually
It's
caught.
his time.
He's caught Fizzy
to
by about
dry
6.
tyres.
Yeah, he's caught Fizzy by about 6 seconds, but it is
He's
still.
on the right time.
But he's still whoa as the tail steps up. But it's still raining in some areas, so I don't think there's not enough race for him to really capitalise on that. There's not enough race left.
No, I think you're probably right. I mean, he did go a second faster than Danny's best last sector, so it'll be interesting to see if Danny could make that move. Danny should make that switch onto the soft compound tyre. I mean, I know.
I don't think.
Timper nobody.
Yeah, nobody literally just almost came to a stop. He actually just pulled over and let Tim by, it looked like. He's already lost a second, and he's in!
Into the pit.
He must have got damaged somewhere. He must have hit the wall.
Front wing, yeah.
Front wing's gone. Yeah, front wing's
Please
gone.
go on to the dry compound tyres. If he doesn't, then I'm gutted. And no, he's made the wrong call. No!
Inters. Yeah, green striped Inters for no. Oh, he will be gutted. He will be absolutely gutted that he's had to have that front wing change. He's down to 6th now. Is he going to come out? No, that's 7th. Is he going to come out ahead of Riker Gordon? Probably yes, he will. So that is from 3rd to 7th. Oh, that is painful. Oh, there's Riker Gordon. He's going to lose that 7th as well. Or can he fend off the Ferrari and into turn 2? Oh, just manages to cut him off. And now I have a cat trying to join me on my desk.
Yeah, it looks like Topar is struggling actually with those tyres. He's quick in some parts, but otherwise his oh god, it's painful to watch.
Topar apparently has lost his whole wing again, and he's coming in again.
Oh, has he? Oh, there you go.
Oh, he's out! He's out! He's actually.
He's out.
He kissed.
Oh.
Okay, his car is still driving. It's now bouncing through the pit lane.
What happens in this situation? No way. I don't
That's
know
brilliant.
King-Kodiak.
That's absolutely brilliant. It became a horse for a while, and they actually changed non-existent wheels. That's fabulous. Oh, it's coming out again. Oh my goodness me! Oh, he's stopped. He's stopped. Yeah.
Is bizarre.
That's
well,
brilliant.
he's retired back to the pit.
Yeah. So yeah, he is now officially out. That was fabulous, though. Oh, Riker Gordon has actually got ahead. Obviously on nobody, but he's just run wide. The Ferrari's just run wide on the run down 2. Oh, they're side by side.
Oh, you don't want to be side by side there. Wow, that was close. Riker Gordon looks like he's struggling. He's missing
Tim's
the
in!
left side of his
Tim's in the pits. Tim's just come in the pits. Oh my goodness me! With 3 laps to go, Tim's come in.
On the podium.
And there's a quick tyre change. There was no wing. Oh my goodness me! Failer's just gone through to 4th. What happened to Tim?
That is truly bizarre. as we have that Riker Gordon nobody battle. Riker Gordon, he has no, his front wing is missing on the right hand side of a car, so he's struggling round these left hand corners.
You're dragging the thing around turn 1.
It's absolutely horrible. I don't know what's happened to Tim. I wonder if we'll be able to talk to him at the end of the race. And it looks like 1, 2, and 3 are fairly set. However, with the way this race has gone, front wings and stops and stuff, we have no idea yet. I mean, Sven's going to get P2, which I'm amazed about after how poor he was driving earlier on.
And probably he's equally as amazed about. Timp is just 1.3 behind Failer, which Timp will be livid. He will be livid with himself for coming in, I reckon. Why did he come in? Oh no! Oh, problem with Failer. He slammed into the wall. Oh, that was at the run up through 8 through 12, and he's retired from 4th. Oh, Failer!
Oh no, that is absolutely gutting for Failer. I mean, Failer's best result at the moment is actually a P4, but he's 9th in the championship, and that would have been really good for him. That's disappointing.
Slick spun. What a surprise. I mean, I'm surprised there's any rubber still left on those tyres.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's trying to turn them into slicks, I don't know.
At this rate, they're just going to turn them into cork. This is going to be literally nothing but wire. Oh, he's got a rear left puncture. I wonder why. I wonder why he's got a puncture. Yeah,
his tyres look dreadful. He's going to get P10 though, which is where we started.
Yeah,
well, unless it happens.
I am lost for words. Genuinely lost for words. Max is right with Riker Gordon now, which he's going to lose that position, missing a big chance. He would have been, orange and black flag with that.
Yes.
And there we go. We just see the Sauber easily cruising past the Ferrari. Oh, go on.
Max and Riker Gordon having a fantastic battle, and Max just took Riker for P7. Riker Gordon braking now to turn 2. If he gets a good exit off turn 2, he's going to have a go into turn 3, and yes, he is. Going to have on the side of 5 drivers that hits a wall. He needs to get back into the slipstream because he made a bit of a mistake. He's only got 2 potential opportunities to do it as this lap and next lap. So for now, he is behind Max, but will he get that P7? It's the closest battle at the moment on the field.
There's a piece of many bits of front wing we just saw in the shot there. Slick is indeed back in that 10th position. Incredibly, he's actually going to come away with a point here for McLaren. Timp is, I think he's actually falling back. Slick is in. Why now? Oh, of course he had a puncture, didn't he? So yeah, of course he had no choice. I forgot about that. Riker Gordon. Oh, it's going to be the wall. Yeah, he's bounced off the wall. Riker Gordon is reversing. Riker Gordon is reversing.
Oh God, Riker, don't be silly. Come on, just get it and get the job done. Move up into P4. We could see an overtake for the podium. We have Timp right behind ACR Raven in the Williams car. Timp is right in the slipstream. He's got rich mix. He's got a lot of fuel. Raven's gone to the inside. What the hell has happened to Raven? Why has he just slowed down?
Maybe he realized. Maybe he kind of thought that Tim was going to throw it on the inside, but he's blasted past. Tim's going to be on the podium, and look how far back Raven's already falling. He maybe have thought the discretion's a better part of valor, and just decided not to fight it. Where's our race leader, though? Let's just see where he is going to, where he currently is, and he's coming towards the end of the lap. Crikey!
Wow.
I think.
Yes, he is. He is coming towards the end of the lap. He's on turn 16 as we speak. And what a performance by Danny.
Flawless.
I mean, absolutely flawless. Oh, DRS is enabled.
Yay!
Oh, hang on. No, you say that. You take the P. But that's going to be quite interesting if we have a couple of drivers within a second. But
no one is. No one is. So leading from the front. An absolutely flawless performance. He's having a big old wiggle to himself already. Why not? Even if you threw it in the wall now, your winner here in Baku is the house of Formula Danny. Absolutely brilliant stuff. 25 seconds ahead of this man. Formula Esports finalist. He's having a big old wiggle to himself as well. Don't throw it into the wall too early. The Red Bull, the reserve driver, has come home in second position. Great performance. One of the many front wings was contributed by that car. And Timp then, he's already built himself 5 seconds from Raven, so Raven is just dying out there, and Topar has left the session. Not surprised because he'd retired a while ago. So Timp then, from being fourth for a while, falling through the field, and now comes home, and he is delighted with that, as we've got a problem in Sector 3. I'm really not surprised. And third place and the fastest lap goes to Tim. ACR Raven in the Williams, as we see cars as one of the McLarens buried in the wall. That is fourth place to ACR Raven in the Williams. Next down the road is the next Toro Rosso. First and fifth for the Toro Rosso. Third and fifth for the Toro Rossos. A decent haul of points for them. Kalon is happy with that and throws it into the wall as well. There's another front wing to add to the collection. ACR Nobody comes home in the next Red Bull and smacks into Kalon's car. Max, there he is in the Sauber. He's gained more positions than I think he thought he was going to, but he's going to come across the line in 7th position. And Fizzy, that is going to be his best result of the season. He's having a big old wiggle to himself. So that is 8 for the second Pink Panther. And Ryko Gordon, after the battles we saw him in earlier, is going to come across the line in 9th. He's actually the last car on track. There it is. And smacks into the McLaren on the side of the road. What a race. Not for reasons that I might have kind of thought we were going to have a decent race. But there we go. So then, Hamish, when we... Oh, of course, we have the podium celebrations. And what a celebrations they would be. Look at that.
So, Red Bull and Toro Rosso, be pleased how their boys performed today. I mean, Red Bull, they are thick in the championship constructors-wise, so they're going to be happy with the extra points they got from P2. Toro Rosso, again, they extend their championship in the constructors above Haas. Although that was a fantastic performance side, Danny. His lap times were so consistent.
Well, what a late charge from Tim, though. Right, Mr. Hamish, take it away.
So, Formula Danny, 25 seconds ahead of Sven. That's over a pit stop. Awesome result from Danny. Have Tim in P3, Raven in P4. He'd be happy with P4, I think, as one position higher, although I'm not entirely sure what happened on the second to last lap. He just didn't seem to defend. Kalon in P5. Good result by him. That's 7 positions up from where he qualified. Nobody, Max, Fizzy and Ryko Gordon, they each gained 6 positions from their starting place on the grid. Fizzy's going to be pleased with that, and I think Ryko Gordon will be. He didn't qualify, obviously. We had, I say DNFs, so people who didn't really do anything. We have Slick. We have some stuff with Van Dorn, which is the other McLaren, so I don't know who that is. That will be if I look on my my charts. That's not very professional. That's Sergo. We have Failer.
Both the Mercedes
is Topar.
Both of the Mercs out. Oh, that is going to very badly hurt their championship business. And of course, Fab Donoso. It's a shame that his return to AOR has ended the way it did. But that is the nature of the beast, unfortunately. That is the way it goes sometimes. Wow!
We've got a couple of drives for interviews as well. We have our race winner Formula Danny. We also have Fizzy in, and Tim. So we will chat to all of them, starting with our race winner, Formula Danny. Kodiak, get away.
And there he is, Mr. Danny. Welcome to the Combox. What a win! Yeah, it was just unreal. How are you feeling after that one?
I'm really happy. I was really happy at the qualifying as well, because I gave nearly 4 tenths to the second guy. But I was very afraid before the race, because this is the first time in AOR that I have done 0 lap practice for rain, because I thought it won't rain here. And my dry setup was a 1-2 wing, so I thought it won't be working. So I put 2 and 4 wings. And actually it worked better than my usually setup at dry and at rain at the same time. So I was quite lucky, and yes, I am really happy about that.
Awesome stuff. Timp, what an up and down race for you. How are you feeling after that one?
Just a relief. I was so pissed on lap 10 when I had to pit again. Oh my god! I at that moment I was like, yeah, no chance of podium anymore. Like GG, Danny will take a spot of the leader of championship.
Yeah, I saw you were holding on to fourth really well right at the beginning in that pack of four, and then you lugged his turn. I was like, oh no, that is going to be disastrous for the race. When then you're just watching your name ascend through the field was something to behold. Great job.
And oh yeah, I got a front wing damage on the start, like turn 2, because someone hit me the back and I hit the top pattern, and yeah.
Oh, no way.
I had to keep it up with Danny and Töpä and Sven with the damaged front wing.
We also have Raven in with us. So, Raven, that was a bit of a mixture for you as well. How are you feeling after that one?
Well, after taking a couple of tours through the city down the escape roads, I was kind of, I don't know, I was sort of alongside Temp on my screen going into turn 2 off the start, and he just moved over into me, so that kind of, I guess, caused that chain reaction thing there. But yeah, so I had front wing damage in that first stint, and yeah, just kind of battled through the attrition, took some detours down the escape roads, and still somehow held on to it. That dry setup with 11 ballast, man, I tell you what, that that was one hell of a handful that entire race. So just glad I was able to hold on to it and still get some good points in the end.
Were you struggling right at the end there? Because it did look like you jumped out of Timp's way, or was it just Timp was that much quicker at that point?
Yeah, my right rear was at 83% or something. So, I mean, there was just no point in fighting it. And even just trying to nurse it around on that final lap, I mean, there was just nothing left in it at all. So I just didn't want to risk, blowing the tire out or, screwing over Timp's race on the last lap. So, yeah, I mean, I figured the best thing for both of us was, just get some points and just move on to next week.
Fizzy, well, you've got a handful of points for yourself. How are you feeling?
Not really sure I deserve to be in the commentary box, to be honest, but I drove around all race feeling like I had no clue what I was doing, to be honest. So the fact that I've gotten points just shows how difficult it was out there, because somehow people were struggling more than me.
Well, we saw a hell of a lot of front wing changes, and a few people going for, as Raven put it, a few tours around the city. So that just shows that consistency can also win out. So, did you kind of have any inclination before the race that points were on the cards, or were you just kind of like, let's just get up and get on with it?
Well, only thing I was doing before the race was counting how many no-shows we had, so that I knew which position I would be in if I was last. So that was, there was 15 drivers, so I was expecting to finish 15th, considering I was 2.7 seconds off in qualifying. But yeah, finishing around a track like this in this weather, all you can do is finish and then hope for the best. So, yeah,
great.
Somehow it's my best result of the season.
Great stuff. Any questions from you, Hamish?
No, I don't think so. I think it's. I'm amazed how many pit stops the drivers ended up having to do, but I think we're going to have to wrap it up there. Well done, of course, Danny, Timp. Well done for the podium. Raven, it was almost a podium for you, but maybe next time. And Fizzy has got the most amount of points he has got this season, so he'd be pleased to double his points total.
Quadruple it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, you're right. So he'd be happy about that, possibly. And
also a thank you from my side, as I had a little bit of technical difficulty at the start that warranted that caused the server restart. So I thank you for the drivers for allowing that to happen. And I hope the audience have enjoyed the show. I always thank you very much for being with us. It is a great honour and a pleasure to do this for you. Thank you to our drivers for putting on a show. Thank you for Mr. Hamish for being with me in the commentary box as always.
No problem.
And we will see you right here for more AOR action. Thank you very much, and good night.